Hey, we outside. And I want to speak on something that I kind of mentioned in a previous video. And I was speaking about my grandmother. I was speaking about having a moment where something was shared with me that was triggering. And my response to the person that shared this information with me was, okay. And I want to talk about that. So thank you for joining me in this video. I hope that you receive something of value that brings light or encouragement and upliftment to your life. So let's get into it. So me responding okay to receiving information that I recognized was triggering me was a very powerful moment and a very powerful lesson. So beautiful. Yes. Confirmation, man. I love it. We in the winter time and the birds singing beautifully. Oh, just warms my heart. I don't even want to talk over it. But I have something to share. And that is that when you recognize that someone does not have the capacity to hold space for you, it is unloving to yourself and to them to continue to share. So that is why my response to that person was a simple, okay. I received what you said, and I'm going to take it to God, and I'm going to work it out there. Or I'm going to take it to my therapist, and I'm going to work it out there. Because some people simply do not have the capacity to be safe, to share how you may be feeling, or how something that they shared with you is triggering you. And that's okay. And this is really a lesson in discernment, which is something that I've really been learning a lot about. And on the surface, when you hear that someone just says okay to something that was obviously painful and hurtful, you think, oh, maybe they're bypassing what is happening. But no, it is really recognizing that I have to work this out within myself, or I have to work it out with someone who has the capacity and who is safe for me to work it out with. And sometimes we are around people who just don't have the capacity. And so when I say it's unloving to ourselves and to them to share knowing that they don't have the capacity, is because when someone does not have the capacity and they react or respond, it can actually escalate a situation in a negative way that causes further harm. And that is why I say it is unloving. I love you enough to see who you are and accept who you are, and it is no disrespect to you, but you can't hold space for me. I wish that you could. Maybe one day you'll be able to, but you can't. And that is a hard place to accept, especially when it's the ones that are closest to us. Loved ones, family members, partners. Because we sometimes as humans want someone to be everything to us, not recognizing that some people in our lives have a single role to play. And I can talk to this person about this thing, but certain things I cannot speak to them about. because they don't have the capacity, and I don't want to harm our relationship by putting something on them that they don't have the capacity to hold. So I learned this from many experiences, but there was one experience in particular, and it was with someone who I believed was a friend, but in hindsight, we were more acquaintances than friends. I didn't ask them about their capacity, and they didn't have the boundaries to share with me what their capacity was. So when I went to them with something that was heavy for me, and it was beyond their capacity, they rejected me in a very hurtful and harmful way. And this taught me that everyone doesn't have the capacity, and sometimes they don't have the ability to express that they have the capacity. Discernment is something that we learn. Discernment is God, is a gift from God. Our egos don't have the capacity to have discernment. But God has discernment. If we were to learn from the teachings of Jesus Christ had discernment. It is important to recognize the role that people play in your life. It is important to be aware of your expectations, to be aware when you're hoping that someone can hold a certain space in your life and they don't have the capacity to do that. It is challenging to do, and there's no real advice that I could give except be mindful when we're sharing things with certain people. Be aware of how they respond or react. Response and react is two different things. Be aware if they make it about them or if they're curious about your experience. These differences will tell you what role a person can play in your life. And these experiences, these differences, will help you find acceptance of the role that they should play in your life. I hope that makes sense. Y'all take care.